I love stitching out decorative stitches on any machine I sit down at. And well, as you can notice, that they look so much better than just the pictures on the stitch selection dial. So I'm going to just pick a couple more stitches to sew. How about a feather stitch, the blue one? So I'm going to turn to the S1 feature here and then just go ahead and sew. I'm just placing the presser foot touching the last row of stitching that I'm doing. I love using variegated thread. It just lets the stitches look so much more lifelike, and you can see how fun that is. Now let me show you just a little note for like the stitch that is the scallop, or even what I call the railroad tracks. So even as I started off, you see that it's kind of a little bit more spread out, and then they get a little bit more closer together with the setting. So what you're going to find is that you do need to be between 0 and 1 for stitch length, and as you start off you might realize it's a little bit more open, and then you just shorten it just a little at a time. As you get closer to 0, it'll close up the stitches and make them nice and compact. Now, if you get them too close together, that's when they're going to pile up and then create a big knot. So just make sure you go a little longer, move to a new area, and start again as you're trying to get that stitch kind of dialed in as you go. So if you don't change your stitch length, that's going to look like a really different looking stitch than what it's intended for, what it's pictured at. So stitch length, you do have to play with that. Again, every thread that you choose is a little different thickness, so that's why you have to kind of fine tune the stitch length. You're going to be somewhere between 0 and 1. Usually about halfway is where I'll start, and then I might creep towards 0 just a little at a time. Also too, stabilizer is important behind your fabric. Notice I have 2 layers of fabric. This is a little bit more dense, so it can actually kind of stabilize itself. But if you're just working on cotton fabric, you need like a tear-away stabilizer or a cutaway stabilizer. If you don't have that, and this is not what I advocate, but even a piece of paper behind the decorative stitch is going to be better than nothing. So just note that if you're getting fabric and it's waving because of your decorative work, that is why. You do need to stabilize the fabric so it has something to attach to. Tear away means you can tear it away when you're done. Makes it really nice and easy. But just know 2 layers minimum, and that can count tear away and fabric equal 2 layers.